Hi guys, what's going on? And welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4. So if you remember, on my first Hearts of Iron 4 video we had a bit of a play around with Italy and things didn't exactly go very well. So I thought, I've been playing a bit more, hopefully got the hang of things at least slightly more. So I think we are going to dive in with the Soviet Union. Have it now more as a bit of a continual series and see if we can sort of conquer the world, really. Well, that's the dream. Let's have a look. Don't want Iron Man mode. Regular, normal sounds good. So let's dive into these guys. Obviously a bit more to manage than Italy probably, but we've also got a bit more firepower at our disposal, so hopefully we can win. Beat the Germans, I guess. So, wow, what have we got? So we've got no theatre or anything set up. We've got our units scattered to the four winds. We've got quite a lot of starting units. Oh, and they've got Russian voices, that's cool. So we've got some tanks, we've got some T-26s. Oh, there's a lot of them, 300 in that battalion. Wow, they've got some very large tank numbers in their battalions. Compared to the Italians, I think had 60 tanks in their battalions. Yeah, an assortment of rifles and artillery and that sort of thing. Sorry about the noise from the lawnmower, not a lot I can do about that. Okay, so all these like this. Okay, so we've got a lot to do. So let's first research slots, or should we do national focus first? Because that might change what we do. So we've got finish the 5-year plan, which is going to give us access to civilian factories, armament effort, 2 building slots, 2 military factories, extra research slot. This would seem like the logical opening move, start to get things up and going. The political power would be nice. And we've got quite a few nice territories, really. All these extra research slot, infrastructure efforts. These are sort of things that we like. The Great Purge. So this is obviously where Stalin killed all his officers. The focus. A series of trials will be held. Great Officers Purge against the land doctrine. But removes national spirit. Trotsky's plot. Okay. I guess Trotsky's plot is removing something bad on us. We want to be removing that, but I think we can worry about that later. Let's, I think, first finish the 5-year plan, and then let's start to get our research stuff going. So it's 1936, so we're fine in terms of equipment there. Everything's upgraded there. Our tanks can be upgraded to BT-7s, which seems probably fairly logical to do. Yeah, let's start doing one of them. And then we're probably going to want to be looking at industrial ones, really. So let's do our research efficiency, obviously pretty critical one. And then industry, production gap or synthetic oil. Well, we'll have to do this one. Okay, so we've got our things going there. So civilian factories wise, I think we'll probably be, how many civilian factories have we got? 42, 27 are in use for consumer goods. So let's think about building a few more civilian factories for the start. Wow, we've got a lot of building choices, haven't we? Probably build a little bit further back if the Germans may possibly be coming in. So we've got all them lined up. What is our resource situation? So we're not importing anything, but we're a little short on rubber. So let's send it for one factory to do that. So unlike the Italians, where you're continually short on every sort of resource, it doesn't seem to be quite so bad here. Obviously, yeah, all the divisions are unassigned, and no divisions are in training. So let's have a look at production then. Obviously, I'm sure you've realised this is going to be a bit of a slow introduction episode because we're going to try and get everything up to speed, really. So infantry equipment is good. Obviously, I think we want to be putting plenty into support equipment because support equipment doesn't really go old; it doesn't go out of date. So, always building more of that is a good thing. Artillery, I don't really know how many we've got them being used. There's no point putting too much into tanks yet because they're all going to get changed over. Fighters is probably one I would like to have a good amount of. I'm not really bothered about making submarines, to be honest. Yeah, why can't I potential that production line? I'd rather put my efforts into this. There we go. We'd rather have destroyers. I don't find the submarines are particularly useful in this game, or not in my experience so far anyway. So we've still got a fair bit to put in on the military factories. Let's get our aircraft up a little bit. We'll have a couple more artillery, and then I guess we should just start mass producing weapons and equipment. Have we got everything else to be built that's being built? Tanks, planes, strategic bombers. Oh, not that well about strategic bombers actually. We've got fighters. We've got not naval. We've not got any support aircraft by the looks of it. What else are we going to go for? A couple of trucks are probably useful. Actually, they probably don't go out of date particularly. Okay. So no divisions are in basic training. I want to kind of see what the division layout is. So they've got some support artillery and then just a load of men basically in a rifle division, which is fine. Then we've got these are obviously the mounted divisions, mounted troops with support and an engineering company. Motorized divisions, or NKVD divisions, obviously partisan divisions, and then our tanks, which consist of just absolutely loads of tanks, and motorized infantry and support. Okay, well let's start to train a couple of infantry divisions and set them up near the border where they can be deploying. Let's check all these divisions. I've got how many men do they have available? Quite a few, and they just have 12 artillery and support. Okay, so I think that's most of the things set up. Obviously, we're going to have to assign all these divisions to different commanders, or sort out all the borders and that sort of thing. Let's just get things ticking over a little bit first. And then we'll probably want to think about starting to assign an army. Let me go for you lot as a group. Could be the Romanian front, I guess. Assign you a commander. I presumably have a lot of generals. Oh, I have a lot of generals. Well, if he's a winter specialist, and then your front line is going to be against, just against the Romanians. That's an NKVD regiment. Presumably these aren't though. Oh, that one is. So let's drop that one. Well, actually, we'll just have the horses, to be honest. Assign you there. 5 infantry divisions here, so let's drop off the NKVD and put them guys over there. So that should assign all them, should start heading over and assign to the Romanian front. We're also going to have to think about the other fronts we've got access to. Oh, it takes a while to think about these things. I guess we want to, presumably there's going to be a national focus which allows me to invade like the Baltics. You know, Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia. Partisan, organisation. Gain claims against China. Anti-capitalist Far East, improve the Stalin line. Claims in the Baltic. Gain claims basically, yeah, on everyone over there. So we'll have to start to think about working on that one at some point soon, because obviously I want to claim that relatively early on. And then we've got some of the other base in Asia as well. Okay, well, we've got quite a lot of researching to do. So let's start to get things going. I'm kind of curious how much we can get our production up. Our military factories, we haven't got that many at the moment. Particularly when we start getting people upgraded. What are we losing out on? Still not got enough rubber. Put that in to get a bit more, which obviously will be helpful to us. Go back onto the fast forward. So I want to be calling this Romanian front. Because they're up against the Romanians. And we're going to have the Polish front, aren't we, as a separate army. Okay, let's just select this lot. Are we going to put them in the same theatre? Probably, actually, because we're going to end up with a different front, aren't we? But they will have a different commander. I still don't need a winter specialist. And your front line is going to be Poland. Okay, you probably need more men, to be honest. Let's just rename this the Western Front. Because it's facing west. I know it's like the Eastern Front for everyone else in history, but for us we can call it the Western Front. So I only want that one. Because these guys haven't got enough to face off against all these Poles at the moment. Both of you can be assigned. I'm assigning things, all the sort of non-NKV divisions to the front line, basically. We're leaving some of the NKV divisions back in support, sort of thing. Okay, so that's given them a fair amount of reinforcements to put on the front line. To face off against the Poles, because we may end up with an invasion of Poland at some point. And I'll probably leave these guys here for the moment. Because these are going to obviously invade the Baltics. What have we got naval-wise? 2 battleships, 2 destroyers, and a sod load of submarines. Excellent! Okay, so let's keep things moving, go back onto full fast forward. We've also got sort of the Turkish front to deal with. Oh, so many different fronts we've got to contend with. But obviously it's early on, so we've still got a lot of things to sort of get researched, to get deployed. So we've not got anywhere near enough equipment at the moment. You know, production really needs to start to ramp up. We need many more military factories. No, I don't want promise of peace. So we'll get things fast forwarding a little bit. We should start to get through our national focuses slowly. That's going to give us more civilian factories, and we'll start getting more civilian factories produced, and ultimately we can start to get more military factories built pretty quickly, hopefully. And then start to churn out equipment nice and quickly. So these should all be NKVD or cavalry, which they are. I don't think all the cavalry needs to be in one place though necessarily. Oh, they're acclimatised to the cold. Sorted cavalry around here. We've got quite a few divisions just sort of dotted around. I guess these guys are all going to be assigned to a new front, probably. How do I create a new front? I think we create a new army and then put them in a new theatre. Okay. So another guy. We want a mountain specialist, don't we really? If anyone's got that sort of thing. Reckless. Well. God, love you. For whatever reason, then I don't know. Okay, we want to be facing off against the Turks rather than the Persians, to be honest, I think. And we'll call this one the Turkish front. Okay. So, let's keep our fast forwarding going as we get some of our early 5-year plans done and start to hopefully ramp up our production and stuff a little bit. I don't know what effect this local Trollsky plot negative modifier has on us. Our national spirits, here we go. Ah, minus 20 stability. Oh, that makes our stability very low. Okay, so I see why we want to get rid of that. Okay, so finish the 5-year plan. That's good because that gives us should give us a lot of extra factories. Which it should do, yeah. Okay, so we're increasing production. So back to our next national focus. So what are we going to do? So we've done this one. So we can relocate our industry, which is obviously not really necessary because we've not even been invaded yet by the Americans, by the Germans, but maybe that's something we'll have to do later on. So I'll say that on for now. Obviously this one would be nice to start increasing our factories and heading towards the extra research slot. I would like that. I also think maybe we should do this great purge just to get rid of it. Grant. So we get decreased factory output, basically lots of negatives, division organisation negative for 583 days. But ultimately it grants us increased stability. So I think it's worth doing. It's going to take us 210 days to complete. It's going to massively increase our stability. Let's do it. Okay, so we're going for the Great Purge. So it's bad in the short term, but I think in the long term it's the right thing to do. It's just going to be a bit of a pain short term wise. So let's hope we can continue our construction, get everything building up, which we are doing. Obviously our Turkish front's looking a bit more steady now. Presumably we've got people down facing off. We've got divisions all down here as well. And facing off against the Japanese, obviously, and the Manchurians. Although I think these are still an independent country, they're not currently at war with the Japanese, but they will be shortly. Okay, our first research is finished, which increases research speed. And we'll do mechanical computing. Might as well do these early on, because the earlier you get increased research speed, obviously the earlier you're going to be ready for it. Logistically, we're still very short on supplies and stuff. We're starting to get some of the stuff in now for what we need. We're still short on equipment. Mostly infantry equipment by the looks of it. Just need more factories to start producing more of that stuff. So keep everything ticking along nicely. Okay, we've got enough political power to modify the government. Okay, what are we going to do? So we can have a political advisor. Oh. 15 stability. To be honest, it would have probably been worth not just completely not bothering with the NK with the Great Purge, but just putting him in instead. That may have been an error. So we captured of industry, civilian factory construction speed. That would be useful considering I'm building civilian factories. Trade deal, Prince of Terror, effect on partisans, non-core manpower. That would be useful eventually. Communist support, fascism support, or democratic support. Okay, so we've got one of them. Or we've got some things like tank designers, which increase the various tank abilities, aircraft designers, material designers, industrial research time. Oh, there's so much. Nuclear research time. Oh, we've got some of the high command ones, haven't we? I think for now, I'm going to go for that one. Because the increased building speed is only going to be useful, particularly when I'm building all these civilian factories. We've also got our armour. We're also going to threaten the Finnish at some point, aren't we? So we're going to put armies up here, I guess. Got a couple of divisions up here in Murmansk, but not a lot. So I'll just keep it on fast forward a little bit till the next sort of thing happens. Not really a lot to do at the moment, I don't think. Quite a few divisions over in Moscow, have they said that? That aren't really doing a lot. These may as well be assigned to... Oh, I can't assign them all to the Poles, can I? Bring them down here. I'll assign two to the Polish front to complete that 24 sort of division. Despite Leon Trotsky being forced into exile, Stalin fears that he has secret supporters within the party. Never. Brutal interrogations. However, more questions. Party members are beginning to believe that Stalin's absolute power and the death of his wife will isolate him to the point that sees anyone as a threat. Remove as political advisor. Oh, well, this is the one I was thinking about doing, so we'll just hang on from him. The support. Lose 75 political power. You. Have gone. Okay. So we've got some divisions moving down here. And then we can get them all assigned. Oh, that is doing nothing. We can go to the Romanian front. Amazing how many divisions we've got lying around. Okay, basic machine tools has finished. So it gives us a few options. Concentrated infantry or dispersed industry. You get more, I think, from this. You get more resilience to... Dockyard output. Max factory in the state plus 20%. Oh, that's the same. Factory it seems this is better, really. You're losing 5% on your factory output, but your stockyard output is the same. Then you get production efficiency retention plus 10%, production efficiency base plus 5. So that probably means that when you're converting to different production lines, this is probably better. Just go for that. No decisions that I want to take. So are these part of that Grand Army? They are. So this lot collectively wants to be assigned as a new division, and it wants to be basically get a leader. Very good start. And you want to be assigned across both fronts. How do I do that? No, I want to. No, I don't want to do that. Maybe I can double frontline you. Split 6 to half. Okay, but we can do it like that. They get 6 and 6 to each division, facing off against what's that? Estonia and Latvia. Yeah. Okay, cool. Hopefully, we'll also take Poland at some point once we get the the Nazi-Soviet pact. Ethiopia, Italy annexed Ethiopia. Okay, cool. Our political decisions are currently nothing going on. Construction, we should have finished some more of these civilian factories. We are, so we're slowly starting to pick up our production speed. Obviously, we have loads of manpower available. We're still struggling to get enough equipment. Infantry equipment is still short. It's just the rifles. I don't think we have enough rifles. Yeah, we're still 20,000 short on this. We need more military factories. How's our Great Purge going along? Getting there slowly. So let's keep the fast forwarding going. We have some shockingly bad fighter planes. We've got a couple of destroyers down here, I think. Oh, we've got a destroyer down there. Just a battleship down there. Okay, we've researched to BT7. So we can change our tank production over to BT7. So that means our efficiency has dropped a lot. And we've got quite a few to replace. It's going to change massively, I would have thought, for needed for upgrades. No? I thought that would need a lot of upgrading. But anyway, we're new research. So it's still 1936, so we can't go down any of the medium tech trees yet. What have we got? We could start doing some of the land doctrines. So you get better out supply. I think this is the one that gives you human wave recruitable population 5%. Yeah. So let's go for this one. Ultimately, we can be recruiting people as quickly as we can, probably. Secret trials. Oh god, this is the risk of the Great Purge. The Red Army has always been home to subversive elements ever since Trotsky himself. Okay, blah 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 blah. They killed. There was no telling if they are fabricators. Okay. Wow, these are some complicated. Okay, that will lead to a civil war in the future. Well, I don't think we want to do that. So we remove. Oh god. So we remove chiefs of army, chiefs of navy, high commands, chiefs. I don't know. It's just to increases penalties from officers purged. Blimey. Makes no difference. I have no idea. There's too many options in that to work out what should they actually do. We'll just pick one and hope it was the right choice. So wait for these guys to continue building up. What's happening? 3 dockyards. Oh, we must have built a boat that was meant to be on Infinite. So what are we going to be building? We could be building heavy cruisers. Submarines are a bit more advanced in terms of their research. No, I want to keep on destroyers for now. One is better. Go for this one. and we'll put all our research into that. So they should continue to produce boats. Slowly starting to get equipment for these guys, but still not anywhere near enough. Continue our fast forward, slowly getting through the purge. Yes, we don't want to have Trotsky as the leader of the Soviet Union. That's just going to cause upheaval. In the meantime, I may add... Should we have the stabilising guy? We'll increase our output a reasonable amount and increase our political gain. Or we could start to think about maybe having some of these guys around here. Military theorist. These are all land doctrine researches though. I'm mostly interested in anything that can do anything about factories. Which none of these people really can. Obviously you've got some of the tank companies. Industrial research time, but again it's just research time. I really want outputs. Which probably aren't. What to go for? What to go for? Submarines, capital ship expert, air combat, airborne, army regrouping, division recovery can be useful. Will be useful in the future. Enemy air support -10. Oh dear, I think we'll go for not that one, not that one, that one. Bit of extra stability. Make things look quite so bad. Yeah, look how much that's almost gave us a 10% factory output increase, to be honest. And then hopefully the Trotsky plot will end and we'll just get -5%, and then so hopefully things will be on a, even though we lose that sort of factory output bonus from the officers purge, I think we'll gain it in the stability we gain. And ultimately when that ends then we'll be looking really good. It's a long-term plan. So our civilian factories are still all being produced. It's the Olympic Games. Brilliant. Just what we wanted. Keep fast forwarding. Nationalist Spain, so the civil war has started. Kill the NKVD, the cavalry. Oh, you can go to it. No point having a random mountain brigade in the middle of nowhere. Another one, to be honest. Actually, to be honest, all of them will probably just go to Turkey. Hopefully we'll be able to invade Turkey before the war breaks out, but I don't know if we will. Before we go to war with the Germans. National decisions available? No. Nothing that we want. Oh, more trials. After several rounds of direct purges, we've noted that. Okay. So we have to just pick Chief of Navy, Chief of Military High Command. It's just picking basically some of our generals to be killed. Don't know. Makes no difference really. I don't know unless you know what each of them go through it all and work out which each member of staff you're killing does and whether you're going to want them in the future. It'll take bloody ages, so I can't bother to do that. I assume some of these tanks are all just T-26s still. Yeah, because these BT-7s must have loads needed to replace. Do they actually intend to replace them? Maybe they don't. You'd think it would. Tanks. Oh, we don't have any tanks. Oh yeah, we do. There it is. Yeah, producing but non-stored. Okay, makes sense. So we'll continue plodding along. We've got quite a few troops. I'm surprised you start with so many troops. Seems to be in quite a good position. Oh, looks like we actually might have deployed an infantry brigade. Does it actually have all its equipment? Yeah, we actually managed to produce and deploy an infantry brigade. Awesome. For now, it can just go to the Romanians. We can move these divisions around, I'm not worried. I'm just sort of stacking them up into some semblance of neatness for now. As we continue on through. I mostly just want to get this great purge. Ah! There we go. Just by magic. So our stability has increased significantly more. So that's increased our factory output, dockyard output, consumer goods factories, and political power gain. So that's all good news. Obviously, we have suffered a little bit with some of the other things. So you can have NKVD primacy, which grants subversive activity costs minus 50%. So you gain like a national spirit. Or you can have that, which gives reinforcement and division recovery. I would definitely have the army one. Oh yeah, so you have Trotsky as the leader. But I think I'm kind of, that was all I wanted to do, was get the Great Purge underway. But for now we can hang on for these, because they don't really lead to anywhere that useful. Some research stuff and things like that. Not that bothered about these sort of things. Oh, lifetime suppression, cool. So I think really we want to be looking at some of these claims, which is what I want to get into. Yeah, we can do all of these. So I think we want to be starting with one of these. So what does this require? It requires all of the following. Wow. That's not as ideal as I had suspected. Just to get down some of these routes. Or should we be arming first? Oh, I don't know. Let's arm first. Because the sooner we get military factories, the better. It makes no difference when I seize the Baltic, so I just want to have it as soon as possible. Just for my own pleasure, but there's no benefit to it. So we'll arm up first, get all our factories producing as quickly as we can, and then we'll be good. All our civilian factories are producing. Probably start getting a few military factories under production. Again, I'll try and keep them a little bit further back. Again, set a long line of military factories underway, so we can start to increase our armaments production and start to get ready for the ultimate war. It will eventually be happening anyway. What are our troops doing? So we're just zoomed out, waiting for the next event. Really, not a lot we can do at the moment. Nothing really that can be changed. Well, modify government. So let's start to think about maybe getting some of these designers in. Material, artillery research time. They're largely research time ones, aren't they? Armor research time minus 10, which they all give. Then the armor max speed and reliability, armor and hard attack, medium tank design, reliability and soft attack. Yeah, sign you. Because getting better medium tanks are what we're going to be focusing on. I'm not going to probably go for the heavy tanks quite so much. Focusing our production on medium tanks. Okay, dispersed infantry, which should have given us a 10% increase to our factory output, and we completed mechanical engineering as well. It's almost 1937. Yeah, we'll increase production speed as well. All these things sort of are really helpful, just getting the industry up on its feet. Oh, well, yeah, we could have this. Gives another 10%, I would assume. Or we could look at something else. Our engineering one, we finished mechanical engineering, so there's no point really doing another one yet. We've got air doctrines, maybe we could be looking at. Or maybe we should be upgrading a class of destroyers since we've still got them all being produced. It kind of makes some logic. Maybe we'll do that. Yeah. And so eventually we're going to need a navy if we want to conquer the world, aren't we? So we might as well start to get them up there a little bit. No point producing crappy destroyers. Yeah, I'm not sure how long we're going to run these episodes for. We're 35 minutes in roughly now. I'll probably do another 10-15 minutes, something like that. Because it's going to be a long series, this one. It's not going to be a short one, so I might as well make reasonable length episodes out of it. Otherwise we'll be, you know, on episode 100 by the time we reach the end if we just do 20-minute episodes. Okay, so we're plodding along. Let's have a quick check of our production. Oh, we are starting to catch up. Okay, that's good. We are starting to catch up now. And hopefully our recruits, well, still a bit short. Have any of our tanks started to filter through? Yes, we're slowly starting to get BT7s through. Presumably, has the production noticed yet? Yeah, we need 3,000. We'll be using 1 a day. Wow, we're going to need a lot more tanks than that. Okay. Our national focus should be finished soon. Uses more military experience as well, which is never a bad thing. Continue our rearmament, and then we want to get that research slot as well to take us to 4. Start us getting going a little bit quicker on the research front. Alright, NKVD detachments. Oh, we're not on the right speed. That's why we're not going quickly. There we go. There's our armament. Okay, so that gave us more military factories. So we're going to have to put 1 on the tanks. Oh, 2 on there and 2 on the tanks. Because the tanks are well behind now on production. But we also need weapons as well because we want to start churning out the infantry battalions. Also pretty short on fighters as well, the I-16s. And we need a new national focus, which is going to be the research slot. Requires... Oh! Ah! God. Oh, that grants plus 20 stability. Wow, that's quite a lot, isn't it? Okay, that's probably worthwhile having anyway. So here we go. We can't seem to stick to one proper research. It's good some of these national spirits are quite nice. We're getting the officers for purge, but that will go eventually. Which has lowered max volunteer factory output, training times and everything. But that will go away eventually, and we're gaining a lot of our factory output from the thing. And we got rid of the 20% stability, so it did improve our stability. Although I'm slightly questioning now if it was worth it. Maybe if I was doing it again, I don't know if I would do it. But we've done it now, we can't change our mind. So it looks like all the civilian factories are done now, and we're well onto production on all the military factories. Which is obviously a good thing. We check our trade front. Yeah, we still need to be importing this stuff. It's nice that unlike Italy we don't have to import vast amount, use all our civilian factories for importing, which is kind of nice. So we're just continuing to plod along. Oh, another military factory finished. Do 1 more weapon production. Start to get that really churning out the guns then. And then we'll start to get our recruited divisions. We'll start to get their equipment really quickly. Which is what we want. Hopefully, how's the artillery doing? Oh yeah, they got a good backlog there now. Okay, good, because we've just got a few artillery per day, and the infantry divisions really don't need that much. So that's good. We'll keep churning things out. As we start to progress, we're into 1937 now already. Sooner or later we'll be starting to threaten other things. So what have we got now? We can have a chief of army. Probably continue the production one. So, well, naval research time minus 10%. I am researching destroyers at the moment, aren't I? So it'll be handy to have that, you see, because that should have cut down on the time then this one needed. And we're nearly getting our Stalinist constitution. Give us more political power. Enables us to recruit another industrial designer as well straight away. I think getting them early on kind of gives you a bit more of an advantage. There's all these things that you're just trying to focus on the industry stuff more than the army stuff, I think, early on. That's my understanding of the game anyway. I want to be powerful early on. Okay, so we've got enough political points to do something else now. So motorization and rocket artillery. Flat out artillery or infantry equipment, weapons and equipment research time. That is probably the best one for that. And we've got a new national focus. Obviously, we can do now our collective propaganda. Oh, that is mutually exclusive with that. What is that? Oh, so you're only allowed to gain 1 extra research slot because you can't gain the extra research slot here if you block this one. So that gives increased recruitable population, construction speed, and women are allowed to become military pilots. But it blocks aviation, new Soviet man. Oh, kamikaze strikes. I don't think that's particularly useful. What does this actually do? Mainly it gives you a new commander and new theorist. No, I think having that plus 20% stability is pretty useful, so we're going to be going for that one. That's going to then give us that real good factory outputs, which is what we want. And a nice stable country as well. No civil wars, which is definitely not what we don't want. Okay, lowers penalty from officer purged. Is it? It does, yeah. So no, the factory output isn't quite so bad. Okay, that's nice. See, and we are churning out military factories at a rate of knots now, which is exactly what we wanted to do. Let's start to dump these one into tank production a little bit. We're now getting 2 a day on the tanks. Let's check our construction. Yeah, we're looking pretty good here. Pretty pleased with this. Okay. So I'll keep this chucking along. Once we start to get to the point where we're producing enough equipment to equip all our units, like they almost are, I think, to be honest. Using 91 a day, you know, they don't need that much. Oh, now they're just upgrading everyone. God, I didn't realise there was lots of upgrades to do as well. What have these people who got out of date commitment then? I guess some must have really out of date equipment. They've got all these upgrades to do. Well, we'll leave them to do that for a while. Looking forward to getting this one with our 20% stability. That's going to be pretty cool. Pocket defense. We're getting some of our infantry. Yeah, well worth having. Need that extra research slot as well, pretty desperately. Other than that, everyone's plodding along quite nicely. And we're getting down on our need for upgrades. Okay, we've got our ship upgrade and another military factory. So I'll leave that now. We could just start producing those destroyers. What am I going to replace it with? Yeah, I say all my aircraft are happily up to date. I could do an air doctrine, but 1937, so we'll probably do now the next dispersed industry, because that gives me another 10% factory output. Outdated naval equipment. So let's put this up to destroyer 2. Yeah, use a little bit of production, but it's worth it. We really don't have much in the way of naval dockyards, do we? And we've got another piece of equipment there. Tanks or guns? No, we'll go tanks. The guns are running along almost 100 a day now. That's looking pretty good. I'm pleased with the rate we're churning out these military factories. We seem to have lost a few civilian factories to consumer goods, I think. Construction 1. Okay, that should make our production construction increase significantly. Yeah, we'll have another construction, definitely. Just all increasing our industry, ramping up our industry more and more and more. That is the grand plan. This one is nearly done, a couple more days. Well, we can modify our government again. So we can have a theorist. And doctrine research time. Well, I am researching land doctrine pretty consistently, so let's have a military theorist. And our collective propagandist. And now look at our stability. Look at that, factory output 17%, minus 4 goods, consumer goods, and increased political power gain. So, pretty pleased with that now. That's looking good. So, what do I want to do? A new national theory, national focus. Now I can have my research slot. So now we've set that off. I think we'll probably end this episode. Oops, we'll probably end this episode here. Obviously, a bit of a slow start, not the most exciting episode, of course, but obviously it takes time to ramp up the industry, get ready for war, and I must admit, half of the fun of this game I do find, as much as the fighting is kind of the back end, trying to produce all the equipment and all that sort of stuff, I do quite enjoy it, and hopefully you guys do too. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Give the video a like, it really does help, and thanks guys, I shall see you all on the next episode.